Yeah,
Almost lost that one.
that was smooth though.
Yeah, that was a smooth one. I caught it. I caught it.
Yeah, that goes in the smooth category.
We live. We good. Mic good.
Yeah.
Camera
Oh,
a
no.
little bit.
Okay, yeah, now you back good. It cut off for a second.
I want to move my camera a little bit. I think I want to be. Well, I don't like this angle, Glay. Hold on.
Yeah. So is your setup stuck where it's at, or
Nah. I
Oh.
always move it.
yeah? Every day I'm like, this dude
Yeah,
be
I
taking
always move it. I'm always trying to find, because you want to know. Hold on. Sorry. That's why. There we go. I changed it because last night I was in here, and sometimes when hold on, let me turn this music off. Sometimes when I have the door open, I don't like having my back to the door. So I'll angle the desk a little bit so I can see, you know what I mean? Like get a better feel.
Okay.
So yeah, because I was in here last night. I'm like, hold up, man, I got to turn around. Like,
Oh, especially at nighttime.
yeah, at nighttime, I'm like, hold up, all right, somebody just walk in here. You know what I mean? Like just some weird stuff happening. I can't react. You feel me? I need to be able to react.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's all that is.
You've been
that's all that is. Glay, man, what's the word? How you feeling, baby?
I'm good, man. I'm we on that journey, man.
We on that journey, bro.
We on that journey.
You're becoming obsessed.
With
the rabbit holes, with learning, like it's sending you down that.
Yeah. I enjoy. I think I'm going through that phase of, you know, when like first you're surprised or shocked, then you go upset, then you don't understand.
Then you back at the beginning.
Like I'm like, damn. So it's just like, to me, it's just so wild how, you know, majority of these conversations that we have just in general, it doesn't even have to equate to the show, but it's just like, it's always just an unethical conversation. I think I was down the rabbit hole of just like Jewish behavior towards Christian, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm watching all these videos. Now my algorithm is just straight Jewish children spitting on.
Oh, man.
And I'm like,
yeah,
yo, this religion thing, I'm if y'all want it that bad, bro, it's all for y'all. Like, I don't even want a piece of that pie. And it's just like, I'm seeing the kids at an early age. And then there was a video of a Palestinian who I guess had a channel kind of like this, or maybe not. It was something, it might be called something called Bananas. Are you familiar with Bananas? A lot of the young bulls are doing it, but it's a thing that just keeps popping new people in your face, and you have a conversation with them, or you can friend them, or you can move on. It's almost, imagine like Tinder
like,
for
I was about to say
content. Yeah. And then it's just like this Palestinian, he's got his flag, and then I guess he runs into two Jewish kids because it's a younger platform, and then the kids are like punching him because he has his Palestinian flag behind him, and then the guy was like, no, I'm your friend, I'm just like you, and it's just like, oh, I wonder who taught him that shit. Religious people. It's just like, even the hate comes from, bro, the hate comes from the religion, bro. It has to, that. Like, even when kids, like, because when you go to the Sandlot, they not like this. How do kids, before they know color and race, they're fine with playing with each other? And then they get around these goofy ass grown-ups, and all of a sudden they don't like somebody because of race, gender, or religion. And then we don't want to take accountability for that. We're teaching that. Do you know that somebody taught us this the same way that somebody taught me and you not to be like that? But nobody wants to take accountability. So it's just like, it's just so messy to just see this battle of just like, you're right, we can't even get to religion and any other of these topics. We still stuck on humanity. Like, we still got to explain to people like, hey man, as a cop, bro, I don't know if like ending a mother's life because you didn't want to maybe jump out the way, like, I don't know if she deserved to die, but Look at the comments. Like it's fighting, it's arguing, it's all this stuff, and it's like Trump is co-signing, Van is co-signing it, FBI is co-signing it. It's like no wonder the
Vice president. We got the clip of that.
Okay, the vice president co-signing. It's so much co-signing of these behaviors that you wouldn't approve of your fucking kids acting like this.
Yeah.
If your kids was around slapping people in the face and punching people, you would remove him from that environment if he felt the need to be physical to defend himself. And you would address the people that were provoking him to even get this way. It's just like it's nasty work, bro. I don't ever want to hear people judge any other country. I don't care how rich they are. I don't care how poor the country is. I don't care if we're talking about Haiti. I don't care if we're talking about Venezuela. I don't care if we're talking about Africa. I don't want to hear us sit here and act because we have iPhones, technologies, and driving cars that we are more humane and more developed as a society than the other ones, bro. We have no excuse with all this at our fingertips, ordering food from your computer, gyms in high rises that are 50 floors, beautiful real estate, all this opportunity of education, Ivy League schools in the North. There's no excuse why we have to strip everything down and teach y'all 1 + 1. You shouldn't kill this person. How are we going to progress? This is why technology is the only thing to progress. People hoarding and clenching the behaviors that God is here to begin with. Why would you hoard this? Why would you clench so bad to this when you see that you see the deaths? You gonna act like you don't see them? And so it's just like so upsetting. And then I saw another video. It was a white guy, and there was a clip that ran across the screen. It said, "You know what? Like, white folks was treating black people so bad during slavery. I don't even know how the fuck we still fuck with them." And so I initially was like, "Ooh, I kind of want to see this angle." And the white dude, it's a white guy, so it's like, before y'all shoot me in the comments, it was a white guy. I know y'all don't like to identify with anybody else with that in certain situations of criticism. But the white guy was like, "Damn, you know what? Like, bro, this is why so many black people hold on to that." He was like, while y'all were passing down wealth, opportunities, and structure, they was passing down safety and structure to stay alive. While you were passing down religion, they was passing down how not to get killed by the cops, what redlining was. Like, they were passing down protection. Why you guys were passing down X, Y, and Z. And I said, damn. They were like, somebody doesn't heal from trauma because of time. It starts with recognition. And if you don't recognize anything to begin with, then you never give people the opportunity of time. I've said, damn, that's true. Because when you think about how when people step into therapy, one of the most things they focus on is what happened. And some of the biggest battle is just hearing somebody apologize for something they may have done. But when a group may feel a type of way, if your children feel a type of way about maybe something you did a long time ago, we have two choices to take. Take the accountability of how we made them maybe feel, or tell them to get over it. And the choice is yours. And it's just like, we keep acting as if we don't understand how human emotions work. We want to be all tough guy. We want to be all political. We want to be all the law is the law in certain situation. But then in other situations, we don't want to use grace and use humanity and use ethics as a judge for this. Yo, before you jump into before you jump into religion, make sure you're okay person before that. Because religion can't hold on to the hate that some of y'all have. It's not a space for that. And unfortunately, what we're seeing when it comes to the religious aspect, it's difficult for people to feel okay calling other people out. It's just like the bad girlfriends don't always call their best friend who's doing dumb shit out. It's not easy to call people out. I'm getting confirmation daily that's the case, bro. We're just so familiar with it. And I tell you, sometimes it doesn't matter how right you are. if you're in the wrong atmosphere, you'll never be right. Ever. Doesn't matter if we understand morals and ethics and that stuff. If we're in a world that doesn't understand it, we're always going to be out of place. And because politics has it receives its energy and its octane from selfishness, from corruption, from negativity. Listen to what people say when unethical things happen. And so this is why we get so hopeful, like, damn, all right, well, you know what? At least in religion, it's clear as day. They say, thou shalt not kill. So even if the politicians on bullshit, we know that the religion that these people have so much subscription to, this will supersede that. She broke the law. She deserved it. Oh, shit. I didn't know it just selectively moved to second place when the situation wasn't permitting for that. So it's just like I'm seeing how everybody's piecing up their mentality, or not everybody. I'm seeing how a lot of people are piecing people up. And what's sad, bro, it's like the parenting was terrible. The parenting was terrible. Your parents didn't intentionally have you. I'm telling you right now, it was an accident on a Saturday night. They didn't sit down and carve the plan. They didn't just discuss how they were going to practice being able to communicate at a high level with their kids. They weren't going to address certain things and traumas in their childhood. They weren't planning on that at all. They just followed the suit of just having children because it was just a fucking thing to think they do. And they weren't concerned about necessarily raising people to hate the way that they have. They didn't raise themselves to believe in themselves. I hear more people in our comments have more belief in Christianity than they have in their fucking selves. If you had the same energy that you yell at us about to go chase your dreams, you would have had a platform with 1 million people on it. If just the few good of you guys that don't think the way that these people that are doing it had just faith to stick your neck out and go try something that would maybe impact the world, you probably would have did it. The faith of a mustard seed was all you guys needed. But you guys chose to not have faith in yourself as much as you had faith in something else. And look what you've done. I hear more, the amount of people, Christians would Christians in this retrospect would have been the most amazing entrepreneurs if they fucking knew that they could be one. If they knew they could fly, they would fucking go fly. If you can believe in this shit and see this shit in whatever it's doing for you, if it gives you this much passion, if you can be a believer, I don't understand why you're not an entrepreneur, why you're not everything under the sun, bro. Because this level of lack of accountability, we're not going to call out, pick and choose, cherry picking. It's so upsetting to just see so much passion and talent go to fucking waste for a bunch of fucking people that had the opportunity to honestly change the world for the better. But they chose to selfishly only care about what happens they do to them. And they all conveniently change the world indirectly for the fucking worst. And I don't ever expect them to take accountability for it. Just 100 years from now, the youth will say how they got there. And I know it's going to be because of these people. We didn't make the sacrifices when we could have. We didn't speak up when we should have. We didn't call out the people when we had the opportunity to. We were scared. 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 We didn't want to be canceled on the internet. We didn't want to lose our jobs. Well, nobody wanted to be the Malcolm X, Dak. Nobody wanted to be the MLK. And that's fucking fine then, I guess. I just don't want to hear the fucking bitching about the youth no more. Let them live their lives the same way that y'all left y'all's, and look where we're at now. These are your golden years, and fuck it. This is how you're going to have to wake up to politics then. Live it out this way. Let them live their life. don't affect them. Don't tell me the internet is the problem. Don't tell me the social media is the devil. No, give them the same 75 to 80 years you fucking took to realize that a lot of these motherfucking clowns who claim they care don't care. Let them go fail too now. I'm going to protect the young generation from the old generation. I'm not going to let them get brainwashed into this shit. I'm not going to let it happen, bro. That shit is foul, bro. By the grace of God, I wasn't indoctrinated by this shit. And nobody's even fighting. Have to wake up to a TV to somebody publicly executing and people are saying, well, she tried to run him over. Shut the fuck up. If there wasn't an internet, you would never have a voice. You're only this bold because there are comment sections on social media. If they took them away, you would never speak. You would never be known, not by your actions, not by your thoughts, not by your prayers, not by nothing. Nobody would ever know you ever fucking existed in any aspect. You would have just been another number at your job, struggling to get by, trying to have in punching air at the politicians from CNN, from your fucking TV screen, just like you were for the past 60 years. Don't now get a voice because the internet has you in a comment section. I don't want to hear nothing like that. I want to go based off your actions. If all your actions were ever lighting shit up in the comment section, man, get out of here, bro. You don't even deserve the right to say shit to me. You don't even deserve the right to say nothing to me. You're not really even ready to stand nothing. If you ain't stood on a platform and spoke to me, don't tell me what I should do. It's the young generation taking that swagger back, putting the chip on their shoulder that you didn't have. You didn't have that shit. Don't tell me what to do. How would my parents tell me, no, you should do this? How, nigga? You ain't done it. You didn't show me that. Don't tell me what it takes to go be successful. You didn't do it. Don't tell me you should not start a business. You didn't do it. All the things that you thought were cool, you didn't do it. You had 75 years to do it and show me a life of wisdom, not speak about, but be about it. And you didn't do it. So I don't want to hear what you have to think. Because in 75 years, you chose to opt out and just go do what the masses do. Where it's easy. Throw tomatoes at the fucking actors all the time. That's all you do. You go on, you're just the people that want to go on the internet and leave reviews, but don't want to motherfucking know nobody to leave a review on you. You keep telling me what God did, and I should be able to feel God. Stop speaking on him like that. Leave him alone. You keep telling me God this and Jesus that and Jesus is Lord. I should feel that from you. It's unacceptable behavior, and I'm noticing a trend about the type of people that it is. You keep speaking on God, keep on speaking on God. Show me where God spoke on you. Show me where he asked you to step up for a calling. What did you do? If you don't have his name, do I still think you walk godly? When you don't have a cross that you can go buy at Macy's department store. If you didn't have church, if you didn't have a scripture, if you didn't have a Bible, would I feel it? Would I see it? No. You guys put on Patriots jersey and y'all thought y'all won Super Bowls too. No wonder these politicians step on everything y'all say. No wonder they disrespect the fuck out of these people. Look how much time they've had to step on these people. Trump ain't doing nothing that he ain't allowed to do. He go up in there and lie to all these folks, but because he can. And what the fuck they gonna do? Yeah. That's what he's saying. Who the fuck gonna spin? These sorry ass niggas had 75 years to say something to me. What they gonna do now? All I'm gonna do is tell them they can do this and they can do that, and what they gonna do? Complain about this shit, man. Fuck all these niggas. We're not seeing that the elite are passing down a mindset and you passing down religion. The elite are passing down systems and processes. You're passing down scripture. The elite are passing down assets. You're passing down pain. The elite are passing down wisdom in first-person situations that they've experienced. You're telling me about what David and Goliath did. When were you David? Mom? When were you Goliath? Oh, you weren't? No wonder your kids don't call you when they get older. No wonder they're not concerned about what you think. No wonder they just come around for the holidays. Why would they come around year round? Why would your kids want to live with you? That's why they leave when they're 18. What would they stay for? They're not feeling fulfillment. They're not getting a recharge. Oh, you think because they text you, I love you, is up? No, they're fighting battles that they're not willing to even think you're qualified to handle. They look at your life and they're not willing to switch it out. They don't want what you have. You're not leading them anywhere. Your life wasn't a testimony. It was just testing. You didn't learn from anything. You just read the book and you thought you experienced what he experienced. He gave you 75 years and all you tell me you wrote the book. You just gonna keep telling me about scriptures in the book? Mom, what are your scriptures? What did you experience? What did you feel? What did you do when your back was against the wall? Show me triumph, Mom. I don't want to keep reading about it. I want to know that I have a responsibility to carry the baton even further, Mom and Dad. Mom, where's Dad at? He ain't here. Why? Why he not here? Why he not standing on business? Why he not being the best version of himself? Look, I don't know. Everybody's different, huh? That's where y'all need to be focused on. Frustrating, bro. It's frustrating to see grown-ups talking about a woman getting shot in the face is okay. They don't even do that shit in the hoods that y'all are scared to walk down with your cheap ass Coach purses. You know, when the teacher come back after a day off and the classroom was acting up, that's the energy I'm feeling right now. I was gone one day and look what y'all motherfuckers did. Now everybody getting held accountable. But like we always go back to, bro, I be thinking like we be right. It be the men, bro. It be the men.
Yeah, we've suffered from a lack of leadership, and I know that's where a lot of your frustration is coming from. I know, Unc was wondering, who you're referring to, and I don't think it's anybody. Well, regardless of that, I think it's pretty clear. But I mean, if people aren't understanding, it's talking about generational differences, talking about passing down certain traditions, passing down religion, passing down certain things that didn't allow us to compete, perhaps, or didn't allow a certain group of people to compete in a way that would allow us to be successful, or just didn't equip people with the tools, didn't equip our generation with the tools. And had our generation, it's no different than what we said yesterday with MLK when he said, I fear I've led my people into a burning house. We are responsible for our next generation. And I think that we look around at the world now, see where things are, and there's never an accountability around, like, how did we get here? What type of thinking got us here? Why are we continuously just voting for the same political party, expecting a different outcome? Why do we keep believing in this political system? Why did it take our parents 50 years voting for the same party to say, like, oh, actually, it seems like the Democrats and Republicans are both fucked up. It seems like they're both just working together and just willing to do whatever the elites have planned rather than what each party is telling us when they're running for an election. So I think it's more so we've been perhaps very naive. The earlier generation was very naive, and now we're seeing it becomes combative in a way, because we end up arguing with the older generation because they did things a certain way. They accepted certain things that we're not willing to accept, whether that's just 9 to 5 for 30 something years, work a job that you don't like, and just stay there. You know what I mean? Like there's just different things that we're not willing to do. You know, now I'm sure the older generation would say, hey, you know, we did some of these things, so you could have the opportunity to do exactly what you're doing. There's always going to be that push and pull, I think. But I think overall, the main thing that I think hinders us is what we always end up going back to. And I think that's my biggest frustration. People just embracing something that I don't believe is valuable for them. And I think it's even, at least, well, I'll just talk about me, my experience. I was more pissed off at Black people for accepting Christianity. Like I'm so, like, when I see Black people accepting Christianity with the white Jesus, with all these different things, it bothers me. It bothers me when I see Black Christians, or you're giving your kids something and you never even read the book. Like you're passing something along to your kids that you never even had the care to actually go through and dissect and read on your own. How are you passing off something to your kid? How is your kid getting baptized, sprinkling water on their forehead, and accepting something as their Lord and Savior? They can't even think. They can't even talk barely half the time, but you're passing something down to them that you are not even aware of. You don't even care enough to understand like how this was given to us. This was literally given to us to enslave our minds, and it's continued to enslave our minds for a very long time. And it's been the number one thing that allows, in my opinion, a lot of evil to keep happening throughout this world. And we just kind of sit back and just, well, you know, mama and dad grandma went to church, so, you know, I'll just keep going. So it just becomes this cycle, and it becomes very frustrating when people around you are not asking the same questions that you're asking. Like, yo, are you not even interested in this? Are you not interested in learning more about this? And I think that's where a lot of your frustration is coming in, Glay, because that's the path that I went down when I was first asking these questions, talking to these pastors. And I was getting very frustrated because it seemed like the more sense I was making, the more people tried to push away and would just get to a point where they're saying, well, I believe what I believe. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, we had this whole debate. We have this whole back and forth where I'm structuring, like bringing substance to you. Like, hey, this is what happened. This, boom, boom, boom. What do you think about this? And then at the end of the day, all you're going to do is walk around and say, well, I believe what I believe. It just goes to show how shut off we can be based on something that we believe, don't know, but we're just so passionately getting behind it. And when we look around at it, it really hasn't done anything positive for us. So I always look at it differently. White people accepting Christianity than Black people accepting Christianity. But I mean, perhaps the white people should look at it from a standpoint of like, hey, if I was Black, and I think this is the video that you're more referring to from this standpoint, like, damn, if these Black people, they just like, if that was me and I was treated that way, I wouldn't rock with these people. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the energy. Yeah. So I think we can look at it from both perspectives and just acknowledge. And maybe that's the number one thing, just acknowledge and show some accountability for what this has done, how this was given to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, and not being so passive aggressive and thinking that you're on a moral high ground when you're telling people that you're going to pray for them. Like, you're going to pray for them. Like, you're going to pray for me, and you think that you're better than me because you accepted the religion of the people that were putting you in chains and shackles. But you're going to pray for me. And that's just, I get the frustration, bro. I get the frustration. And even yesterday, I had a long conversation with Paula on all of this. And the conclusion of it was, yeah, I got to go back and do one of these classes. I want to learn. She was telling me, like, you got to get certified in some of these religious things and have these conversations, press people. You know, have these interview people, like do a course on it. Like, let's start really uncovering a lot of what this is, because I think people just run from the truth in a lot of ways. It's like, here you have Christ, which is supposed to represent the truth. But then when you actually have conversations around religion, people tend to want to shy away from it, not get engaged, say it's a circular argument. Well, it's only circular because it seems like you guys are not letting the information in. You're not acknowledging the things that are being presented in the discussion. So it becomes circular. Like it's working circular for a lot of people using it for doing bad and using it to just stay in power. But people don't want to address it. So I get it. I get it. I get all the frustration. And then when you have instances like what happened with the Minneapolis lady, Renee Good, getting shot, and then hearing people's responses, it's like, yo, there is no godliness in this world anymore. And if we don't recognize that, if we don't realize that, then I guess we'll just go back to the biblical times and God will just figure out a way to flood the planet or destroy it, however he's going to destroy it. And I guess we'll just end humanity for the next generations. They won't be able to experience the life that we were able to experience. I think that's a selfish thing. I guess other people may not believe that it's a selfish thing. I think we have a duty and obligation to learn as much as we can while we're here, to put the next generation in the best position to stand up for right, to stand up for good, whatever we believe that is. And we just don't. But I think it always goes back to a frustrating time when you have people on this side that may not care and other people on this side that may care a lot. That's always going to be a frustrating battle. So,
and it's just weird to see, Glay, how it's just like, it's like the older they are, the more stuck in their ways they are.
I think there's an elitism with age. I think a lot of people believe that with their age, they're smarter than you. And I just think that that's very limiting. Like, different experiences are different for it's almost as if, and this sounds crazy. Well, it may sound crazy or disrespectful. I hope it doesn't. But, you know, if you're living in a certain type of bubble and you've been indoctrinated, like it's almost like the young kids don't have the indoctrination that a lot of the older folk have.
Right. So, in a lot of different things too.
So with that experience that a lot of us may want to feel good about, hey, I have all this life experience, but we never want to dive into, well, what exactly was that life's experience as far as, you know, how you were thinking, how you were propagandized, you know, all these different things. It's interesting. It's interesting to look at. You know, some people who are interested in history, I think, are going to always go back and learn certain things and see the pattern of behavior and how a lot of times history repeats itself. So a lot of this is like, we wonder how these things keep, we talk about things not wanting to be cyclical. Well, if you don't understand history, it's going to continue to repeat itself. Everything that we're seeing happening right now, it's already happened. Yeah. Like everything, like we're seeing all the evil, the destruction, like we've gone through this. We've done this before.
Yeah, this ain't new.
Yeah, so it's but to people that may not be aware, this, you know, this may be something new to where we're looking around like, oh, what happened? Like, we've continued this cycle for a very long time, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. Hold on, I gotta. All right, Maya just sent me something. Maya, explain it to me before I put it on the show. But let's take a look at some of these videos. Let's take a look at some of these videos, because I think the videos will show like people. I don't want to. Let's play the videos. Let's play the videos. All right, so this is actually a retired ICE agent. So obviously the conversation and where a lot of the frustration is coming from is us seeing this video of this Minneapolis shooting, this lady, Renee Good, and a lot of the responses that we got yesterday. Some people were saying like the law's the law, or, oh yeah, like the cop was right, or, oh yeah, he was in danger of his life. The lady was trying to run him over. And let's hear from an actual ICE agent, a retired ICE agent, and let's get their perspective. And when they give their perspective, for the people that think that this shooting was justified, what are you going to stand on when there's an ICE agent saying it? I don't know. You may still have your opinion. You may still have your same view. It's funny that actually that guy, remember the one that I said here, the one that always posts Elon Musk always posts his stuff. Mm-hmm. He actually came out and apologized.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he came out and apologized and said that he was wrong based on his take, because remember, he was giving his take yesterday and he was saying like, yeah, this was justified basically. And then you had Boyce Watkins underneath, adding on to it, saying that he's proud of him for having this take. And then he put out the video the next day apologizing. But there's nothing wrong with changing our stance on these things. There's nothing wrong with changing our stance. So I commend him for that. But let's get into this video with this ICE agent. And would love to get y'all thoughts. Let me go full screen. Hold on. What the heck? What the hell? I don't know why it's not going full screen. Hold on one second. Y'all see me pressing it. All right.
No! Shame! As cops, we're responsible for every single round that leaves our weapon.
Eric Balliet is a 25-year career federal agent who most recently oversaw use of force investigations for Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI. We asked him what to make of the tactics used by federal agents in the fatal Minnesota shooting.
In my 25 years, I've done hundreds of vehicle stops. If someone is fleeing, that is not a justification for the use of deadly force.
In this moment, the officer crosses in front of the vehicle. He opens fire on the driver, 37-year-old Renee Good. The government says the officer shot the driver in self-defense.
She then proceeded to weaponize her vehicle, and she attempted to run a law enforcement officer over.
But the footage tells a different story. In this clip, we see Good waving cars by, and one car drives past her stopped vehicle.
Like they're somewhat impeding the ICE guys, although you did see the SUV drive around them.
Next, officers exit the car and approach Good's vehicle.
Right out of the gate, it's escalatory in nature. And then the agent with the black mask reaches for the driver's side door handle to try to open it. From the video, like the reverse lights are on.
From this other video angle, we can see that the officer has already crossed in front of the car. He's holding a cell phone.
They are trying to essentially take some sort of recording or photograph of the driver to show or identify her as a antagonist to their enforcement operations. What he does is cross in front of and stay in front of a occupied running vehicle. You should not be intentionally putting yourself in front of a vehicle unless absolutely necessary. And with a cell phone in his left hand, he draws his pistol with his right hand, and in very quick succession rattles off 3 rounds.
Under the Department of Homeland Security's use of force policy, firearms may not be discharged solely to disable a moving vehicle, and shooting at a moving vehicle is tightly restricted.
So my training was that you cannot use deadly or lethal force solely to stop a fleeing vehicle. Do you have another option other than pulling the trigger?
The Trump administration maintains the agent opened fire to avoid being run over, but the direction of the tires appears to be facing away from the officer to the right. There's still a dispute as to whether the officer was grazed or struck by the Honda. He continues to fire even after moving out of the way of the vehicle.
If she is intentionally trying to hit that agent or officer, those tires are pointed in the opposite direction, and the vehicle's trajectory after the shots would be continuing to the left.
After 3 shots, the car veers away.
Oh my God!
According to Balliet, both the officer's gunfire and the car accelerating could have put agents and the surrounding crowd of bystanders in danger.
These are all factors that law enforcement officers have to weigh before pulling the trigger.
I want to go right into this JD Vance response. So this is the ICE agent. That's their training. Wanted to play that whole video. And then I want to take a look at some of the comments that JD Vance made in his address. Let's take a look. It's on the screen, Glay?
Yeah.
All right.
Large has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that
So y'all put him on the force. Y'all put him in the field. Y'all didn't put him in therapy. If he needed therapy, why didn't y'all say that? He wasn't prepared to go back out there, clearly.
That's a hell of a damn, bro.
That's confirmation that it was bullshit. And then to even what's even crazier, Glay, you know how I know in his heart he fucked up. Go back to that vid, the one before this, because now it's so easy that politicians want to speak up when morality is in question, but they don't want to speak up when it has anything to do with cats who ain't in their gang. When have they been speaking up for the people? Go when she already starts driving off. Keep your eye on the officer. Yup.
After he identify her as
those 3 rounds
antagonist to their enforcement. Intentionally putting yourself in front of a vehicle unless absolutely necessary. And with a cell phone in his left hand, he draws his pistol with his right hand.
Yep, keep going.
And in
arms.
I don't know if this one plays it like that.
As to whether the officer was grazed or struck by the Honda.
Okay, this one
he continues to fire even after moving
obviously he
out
shoots
of the
in
way
there.
Of the vehicle.
If she is intentionally trying to hit that
he's still shooting, and he on the side.
Those tires are pointed in the opposite direction, and the vehicle's trajectory after the shots would be continuing to the left.
After 3 shots, the car veers.
And then this is the part I want you to play from here on. Watch what happens. Watch what he does.
According to Ballier, both the officer's gunfire and the car accelerating could have put agents and the
I'll tell you the worst part of this, bro.
Hold on, Glay. What I'm saying is, you telling me you shot off 3 rounds. You saw that car ram into a fleet of other cars in the telephone pole.
He walking.
Yeah,
I know. I knew what you was talking. I knew what you were talking about. Yeah,
you knew what I was talking about.
Like, damn, bro. Look at this civilian. Is her job to protect and serve, or is his job to protect?
Sprinting. She's sprinting over there.
Probably risking her damn life at this point, messing around with this dude.
This dude shot 3 rounds and thought it was an option to go run over there after an accident. I've seen every other line, firefighters. I've seen everyone run. I've seen pedestrians, when there's a wreck, sprint like that woman, that hero that we saw sprinting. And you're telling me this dude shoots off 3 rounds, watches her having accidents, so he knew, oh shit, I might have hit her. And his immediate response is he taking a deep ass breath and debating, do I walk back or do I walk forward? And he didn't realize the fact you're walking let us know you was wrong from the beginning.
Bro, forget all that. You talk it ain't even just him. Hold on. Look at the when you look at it, look at everybody. You got this dude, he helping pick his man up.
3 shots, the car veers
He's
away.
slipping and falling. Like, what are all y'all
According
doing?
to Ballier, both the officer.
What are all y'all doing?
They all left because they knew he fucked up. They knew he fucked up.
And there can be like incidents like this, terrible, obviously. But to hear the response of people, it just, what it really should do is just tell us how much these people do not care about us, how much these politicians, and how much we've allowed it to get to this point to where politicians have completely removed principles and morals because they know that they can just game us emotionally with us being on this side, us being on that side. And we see it in a lot of these responses. Like people are basing their opinion of this video on what political party and what's their political affiliation.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's how people are basing, and you can see it and hear it just based on how JD Vance, he feels that he has to push this. Why? Because, oh, well, we put these ICE agents. Like, wouldn't it just be dope to say, yo, this was a terrible thing? This from the looks of it, I don't, obviously, you know, this person's going to have their day in court, but from the looks of this looks like a cold-blooded murder. Or this looks like murder. This was a very difficult and disgusting thing to watch. Like you could say something.
But see, when
But
it's
they
a
defend
gang,
it passionately.
but when you see when it's a gang, they don't do that.
It's a gang. You got to look out for your people.
You
bro.
got to be
And
look out
it's-
for your people.
And we see this is why when we follow anything, we become fans, whether it's maybe the religion that we're talking about, whether it's political, whether it's all these different things that we follow. When we follow something, we create this bias of not being able to see things clearly, not caring perhaps how we should care, not being able to see the big picture. It's like you said, it's just gang mentality. It's gang mentality. Let's continue listening to JD though.
That headline leaves out is that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media...
The fact that you got to bring this stuff, let's keep going. I'm gonna keep going. Hold on. We'll keep going.
Wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE, I stand with ICE, we stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
So you already got injured in a similar incident and you decide to jump in front of a car again.
He should have no business being an ICE agent then after that.
It's he just lost the 2028 presidency, in my opinion. And it may not be specifically because of this, but Gavin Newsom's going to be president in 2028. Gavin Newsom's going to be president in 2028. And it's to the point where all of this stuff, I really do believe maybe that all this stuff is just a stage. Like we're just getting played by this. Like there's just no way that people, like anybody would feel comfortable going on stage and saying what JD Vance is saying. Like we have to be getting played. This has to be some sort of simulation where somebody's running things and, you know, we're just kind of in the game. You know what I mean? Like we're just in the game. Like what's the old game? Like The Sims. Like this has to be some Sims type of stuff. We have to be living in a simulation. We have to be living in a simulation. I'm like, I just don't get it, bro. I just don't get how politics can drain any ounce of humanity and decency that you have in your soul when you see a situation like this. But let's finish it up. Damn.
Single one of you. And the one final point I'll make about this is, look, there's a part of me that feels very, very sad for this woman, not just because she lost her life, but because I think she is a victim of left-wing ideology. What young mother shows up and decides they're going to throw their car in front of ICE officers who are enforcing legitimate law? You've got to be a little brainwashed to get to that point to where you're willing, not just to protest, that's fine, not peacefully protest, but throw your vehicle in front of legitimate law enforcement officers and drive your car into them. To get to that point, you have to be, I think, radicalized in a very, very sad way. I certainly wish that she hadn't got there. I know there's an ICE officer right now who very much wishes he was not put in the position where he had to fire a gun to defend his own life.
What was the thing he said
and
over
drive
here?
your car into them. To get to that point, throw your vehicle. Got to be a little brainwashed to get to that point to where you're willing, not just to protest, that's fine.
Bro, yeah, the brainwashing, that word just stuck out to me because I'm just like, damn. Like,
I was fucked up when he said, I'm not necessarily not about her death. I'm more, but whatever that line was.
You want me to hold on?
Yeah, because I don't want to take it out. But that shit.
Be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. And the one final point I'll make about this is, look, there's a part of me that feels very, very sad for this woman, not just because she lost her life, but because I think she is a victim of left-wing ideology.
Yo, this is not a political thing, bro.
Like, to make it political is crazy. He was yo, this is crazy. People really talking about he was defending. You don't send 3 rounds into a car defending yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Defending yourself. Bro, I've seen people jump on top of cars. I've seen people jump out the way. You pulled your gun out. There was a moving car. Most people's instance is to run from the moving car, not to stand in front of it with a cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's switch gears a little bit, man. Let's switch gears. I want to get back into, if it's cool with you, I want to play a couple clips from, and Trump actually did an interview that just dropped, I think, late last night with Brent Baer on Fox. We may get into that, but first, let's get into this this Colombian president. He had some interesting things to say about America, and so did actually Tucker Carlson. He had a interesting viewpoint on what's going on in the country and our interactions, or us going to Venezuela to extort their country. And yeah,
I'm kind of looking forward to, Glay. I'm gonna be prepared for you tomorrow, but I want to get some update on where Candace at.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll figure out a way to get that.
Yeah, get some updated info, because Charlie Kirk is situation. I ain't heard nothing about it, but it's just people over here justifying, like, if people justified Charlie Kirk dying too, and we had to fight to make sure people knew that wasn't humane. But they made it about politics then. It was a radicalized left. Somebody runs over a car. It was a radicalized left. What are we doing here? This is crazy. Straight just public executions, and we just make it seem it's because she's been radicalized.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I was seeing something where it's really a humanity, spiritual type of thing. And I saw Paula just pull up. We're gonna bring Paula in a sec as well. I guess, Paula, you could just jump into the conversation as well. But it's just from a humanity standpoint, and across the board, all these things that we're seeing, whether it's Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, Nigeria, Venezuela, like, just from a decent human being perspective, we're looking at a lot of these situations and we're wondering, how can these people that we voted for be making these decisions? How could they be leading us these ways? How could, and then we got to look back at ourselves, right? Because if you look at, and most people probably don't, when we look at the death and destruction that we've created around this world, and even when I looked at the numbers of, they always talk about Iran is trying to kill us. Iran has, in the last 50 years, has been responsible for like 1,000 deaths of Americans. Do we know what we've done in that region to Iranians around it's the more that we hear stuff like this, when we hear JD Vance talk about this situation, we got to understand that that's also our mentality. Well, think about what our mentality is now for Palestinians or people in the Middle East, Arabs or people in South America. If JD Vance, if this is his mindset on a white woman being killed in cold blood, a white American woman being killed in cold blood in America, do we understand what these type of people's mindsets are when it comes to the death and destruction that they have absolutely no problem visiting upon other countries throughout the world?
Yeah, I don't believe
energy here.
I don't think Americans care about that. I don't think Americans. I don't think a lot of these Americans give a damn about Americans.
Yeah,
they care about the political association.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what's dangerous about Americans. Like, Americans stand with Americans until you speak about religion or politics. Then the divide starts happening amongst these people. Starts happening amongst they don't fight. They don't fight until, like, there's no such thing as there's no such thing as these crimes until you start speaking about what drove the crime. Was it religion or was it politics? That's the only time we justify seeing these certain things. And so it's just like there was somebody in the comments that had said, oh, you know, she tried to run him over, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, all right, man, you got it. Like,
yeah, people, but if people are thinking like that, you just understand where people are, bro.
but see, this is what's interesting to me. It's like back then at the end of the day, what the fuck is we proving? If people see this shit and still choose to say that they didn't see what others saw, then obviously people choose to see whatever it is that they want to see. And if that's the case, then you're not going to make nobody see the truth. You're not going to give people the opportunity to they're not going to take advantage of the opportunity to change or accept accountability. Like, it's just not these. We're not. I don't know. It drives me to a moot point to sit here and debate. And this is why the conversation of religion is off the table. This is why nobody wants to talk about it, because you can't talk about possibly changing a perspective. We're coming to the table knowing that at the end of the day, your goal isn't to take away and obtain new information. It's to reinforce your beliefs to begin with. If you're showing up to the table in that fashion, we ain't got nothing to talk about. If you don't want to see the change, you don't want to see everyone come together. You're not willing to put your sword down and come together and have a conversation about what we can do together as a unit. So it's just like, I think we're giving a lot of people credibility that they don't deserve, bro. I think it's a blessing to be able to take accountability, and I think it's a blessing to be able to change. And I think I take for granted how blessed I am to even be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I take it for granted how blessed I am to be like, yo, bro, that's my fucking bad, bro. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Bro, I've overlooked that my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're in a space, what's up, Paula? And then now we're in a space where people who don't have that, and we're seeing how difficult life is. You know how difficult it is when you got to blame religion or God or the devil or everything else? Like, do you know how difficult life is that way? I'm not listening to people that think like that. If you don't take 100% of your life and say it's 100% my accountability, if you don't take your mistakes and try to learn from them, that officer had an opportunity to learn from his past. This doesn't look like he healed from the past. He didn't look like he healed from what he's experienced. And because of that, because we wanted to go hire every ICE agent, we gave them a $50,000 bonus. We told them that their student loans would be liquidated. We told them that they would be able to mask up. We told them that they could work out of state. We gave them all the little loopholes that they possibly needed. And then you wonder why somebody like that, who got a fucking a Pooh Shiesty on his face, holding a camera and a gun, you wonder why this happens. He's not even prepared for the job.
I want to know what's the perspective of non-Americans on certain things that happen in America. And Paula and I had a conversation, and Paula, I'm going to unmute it. I know you had to, and Paula and I had a conversation yesterday, because these combos get frustrating, bro. And I think a lot of times people who are watching the show don't realize, we're getting frustrated too. It's not that people want to keep, it's not that we want to keep talking about the same thing, but the more we look around at stuff, we keep landing in the same place when we start to dig for the actual root of the problem of all these areas. So, Paula and I, we had a conversation, the same thing that you and I talk about, BK, like, yo, is it even worth it to do this show? Is it even worth it? Like, I always, and to be totally transparent with everybody, I ask myself every day, like, yo, is this worth it doing this live show? I could just put out videos, I guess, try to figure it out. Like, is it worth it trying to change the way that people will think? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? And now I always come away with the fact, like, yep, gonna keep running. hey, I don't know what I'm chasing, but yeah, we're just gonna keep running. We're gonna keep running because I don't know if the goal that we're looking to accomplish is attainable if the majority of people don't believe it's attainable. But I guess that's kind of what a lot of the work that we're doing is to kind of wake people up. So maybe they will start that process that you talked about earlier, Glay, where it's like, okay, first you get some information, first you're surprised, then you're angry, then you go through, perhaps people need to get to that point where we're exposing enough and showing enough JD Vances who's speaking on this cold-blooded murder and making it about left-wing political ideology rather than just this lady being shot in cold blood when she was not threatening anybody's life. They won't make it about that. So hopefully, I don't want these situations to keep happening, but it's like every time one happens, I'm hoping that this is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like this is going to be the one that really gets people to kind of take a step back, realize, hey, this ain't about Democrat versus Republican, conservative versus liberal. This is just about being decent versus us embracing all this evil that these powerful people are creating around the world to stir up this chaos so they personally benefit. So that's a long way of me asking you, Paula, what are your thoughts when you look at something like this happening in Minneapolis with this lady being shot? What's the energy from, and let people know where you're actually tapping in from so we can kind of, yeah.
Okay. I'm probably going to launch another photon torpedo now because I actually think it was tragic, but unfortunately, I think it's going to be found justified.
You said it. What's the word you said before justified?
I think it's tragic. It's a tragic event, however you look at it. But I don't think there's going to be. I think it's going to be found justified.
Yes,
and,
I agree.
And this is where the bomb's going to go off because I kind of agree.
As far as give your perspective.
Did you watch the Megyn Kelly kind of analysis on it this morning?
No,
that it was really good, and this is where Megyn's really like excels in. She kind of like falls up off goes off on tangents a lot of the time as well. But the police officer involved had 6 months before been in a similar situation where he had been dragged 100 feet from a car window, ended up in hospital. And if you do look at, if you look at the wider context of it as well, a lot of the clips that we're seeing are just of the people kind of, nobody knows why she was there. She was just like an innocent bystander, but actually she was part of a kind of a group of activists who were there blocking the roads. And we see this in America all the time. It's if an armed officer comes towards you and asks you to do something, you have to do it, really, or you're putting your life at risk. And in a split second, which is what I was looking at the video in slow motion, and she reversed, and then she hit the throttle, and you could see as the wheels begin to spin and they turn towards he actually did hit the officer, and it wasn't until the wheels turned and they began to spin, so he would have heard the engine revving, that he pulled his gun and then shot. So I think it's very nuanced, and it's always this kind of, and it's each side are going to be playing the narrative and whatever, but trying to stay non-political about it and pragmatic and I guess realistic. She was there to cause as much problems for ICE as possible, and she put herself in a ridiculous amount of danger. She's got a child, and an armed officers came up to her and said, stop what you're doing. If you try to flee a crime, even in a DUI, that's going to put your life at risk.
Does it make it justified?
That's state enforcers, not just federal enforcers.
But does it make it justified? I just want to say, because you said earlier, because I may put myself in danger. That's something that we grow up, especially if you're a Black man in America, you grow up where your dad's teaching you, how to conduct yourself in a police stop. the fact that we have to do all those things, and the fact that if you do make a mistake where you're having a bad day or whatever it is, even if she was wrong, but I don't understand how that justifies, even when you look at it from a legal standpoint, that officer's life was not in danger. And the officer, just my opinion, because I heard what you said just about what happened to the officer earlier. Retire. If you have some type of mental trauma, you don't get to use that past trauma as an excuse to visit abuse upon somebody in the future. You have to address that past trauma. I can't go into a football game and make a mistake and then say, oh, well, damn, I kind of like I'm injured or something happened in the week 1. So therefore it justifies. No, when you put yourself in that job and you put that uniform and you put yourself on the street, it's dangerous if you have trauma in your mind that's creating some sort of PTSD that's now having you triggered in an event where you could have just stepped out the way, where you were already out the way. You were already out the way, but instead you not only fired when you didn't have to fire, but you fired 2 more shots when the car clearly you were not in danger. So I think that officer, if anybody's being realistic, that officer can justify it and clearly try to justify it, just like JD Vance is justifying it. But there's no way that anybody can convince me that officer's life was in danger. And perhaps these officers, they need to go about some training and maybe not be like being a coward doesn't give you an excuse. Like being scared doesn't give you an excuse to shoot somebody. No difference. Let's say I walk up to an officer and I have an altercation with that officer, and that officer may be, or let's say it's BK. BK's about 6'4". You know what I'm saying? Let's say that there's a 5'6" officer that goes up to him, or let's say that there's a lady, right? Because now we have women, and you know what I mean? Okay, cool. Let's say it's a woman. In any interaction with BK, that woman could legit say that she feared her life. Does it give her the right to then pull out a gun and now shoot BK? Just because you thought that your life was in danger doesn't mean I could sit here and Florida's a free gun carrying state. So if I feel threatened, like I can't just pull out of a gun and shoot somebody. Now, maybe from a legal standpoint, we can discuss maybe certain things if your life really is in danger in Florida. But from a police standpoint, an ICE agent standpoint, I just don't see how this can be any way justified. Like that officer to me was just simply, their life was not in danger. You got a cell phone in one hand, and then you got enough time when a car's revving at you and you got all this PTSD and trauma, and you got time to perfectly take your gun out and then aim it. And then when the car gets by you, you kind of like went like this, the car's by you, then you're going to take 2 more shots.
That's the only thing in contention, I think. As I say, in videos from a separate angle, the car did hit the guy. And in these situations, he doesn't have trauma. He doesn't have PTSD. He just has experience of those situations. So he's got that training. But
you heard did you hear the previous officer, the retired ICE agent?
No, I haven't seen
I'm not sure if you saw the video. We actually put up a video of a retired ICE agent, and the ICE agent said, that's wrong. 1, you don't put yourself in front of a car. And 2, from their training, they cannot use deadly force to try to stop a fleeing vehicle.
If that's the case, people would just shoot people.
Yeah, that's what the ICE agent said. But
what I'm saying, if that was the case, why would cops just not shoot people who were fleeing cars all the time? Because you could potentially kill somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a child in the back seat, would we justify him getting hit? That's just the L you may have to take. I understand as a cop that
you're risking your life.
I'm possibly at a disadvantage as a cop. Like as a cop, I'm possibly at a disadvantage. You don't get to even the playing field and say, she got a car, I got a gun, but I can even the playing field with my gun. Bro, if you stand in front of a car for somebody who is irate, we see a woman in a panic. I see a woman who, whatever reason she was there, I don't care why she was there. I don't care what she was there for. She can be there for whatever she wants. We just saw 2 cars that she let drive by. We saw her say, go ahead. Then we watched the other cop attack her car. She didn't want to go to jail. What would anybody else do who doesn't want to go to jail? They may run.
And why are we bringing up the fact that the cop got dragged 90 feet? Well, it could be a traumatizing experience with a cop running at your car saying, "Get the fuck out," and trying to open your door.
For black people, it is.
She may have panicked. You know what I'm saying? So
for black folks, it is. If a cop attacked me, and that's the thing. Also, I find it confusing that, like you said, Dak, I'm 6'4". I ain't really scared of. I'm not necessarily having that fear per se, but most cops, like you said, are going to approach me, and I can breathe wrong, and they're going to be shook. Mm-hmm. Do I deserve to lose my life because you're scared on the job? Bro, taking a life is a different category now. It's not my life over yours now. When you become a cop, it's to protect and serve. You know how he could have saved that woman's life? By not hopping in front of the car. He could have saved her life.
He was coming round the other way.
If I see people fleeing and
2020 hindsight thing, obviously we're looking at it from the past. I'm saying it's not going to be found. It's going to be found justifiable in the law. This is what I was just looking at in the Megyn Kelly thing.
Most killings by cops are found justifiable. They typically are. I seldomly see cops be held accountable for killing anybody. Every killing is justified.
Well, I don't know about all of the stats, obviously, but
we were considering his past of him being dragged, but why don't we considering the past of what cops are typically doing? Why do we get to cherry pick that?
It's not a cherry pick. It's very specific to the situation.
Yes. So
let me ask this. So Paula, so you look at that situation and you think the officer was right?
I think he thought his life was in danger, and I think he did what his training demanded him to do. This isn't a cognitive process. You don't have time to think cognitively in those situations.
But Paula, we just told you that we just played a video of the retired ICE agent.
I didn't see that. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah. I should, like, it wasn't their training. That's the whole point. That's not their training. And people, and I think this happens a lot where people will say, like, oh, well, that's just what the officer's trained to do. But we don't know what the officer's training is. We just heard maybe JD Vance say it or heard somebody else say it. The ICE agent, the retired ICE agent said, that's not what you're doing. Like, he made like three or four mistakes.
Okay.
Huh?
I'd urge everybody just to go and watch the Megyn Kelly thing. That's on this.
We could check it out right now. Send me
okay.
It's Megyn Kelly.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Hold on. If you put it in the chat, we'll definitely pull it up. Megyn Kelly. I'm very interested in this. Okay, I think I got it. All right, it's a little bit of a longer one, but all right, we'll get through what we can. Hold on.
She has a discussion about it afterwards, so you could just see the.
All right, let's see. I am excited to hear this.
It has now been over 24 hours since the fatal shooting of a female driver by an ICE agent in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we're getting a much more clear picture of what happened. The media all over X, the mainstream, have lost their effing minds. They've lost their minds about this. The local authorities in Minnesota and Minneapolis are gone. They're too far gone to be reasoned with. They're going to get an ICE agent killed. That's what's going to happen. They're not going to be happy until an ICE agent is dead. I realize a woman died yesterday. I'm sorry, but that was her own doing. Who among us would not understand that if we did not respond to law enforcement surrounding our car, telling us to get out, we were endangering ourselves? Who among us would expect to live if we pressed the accelerator with a cop in front of our SUV? Like, that's what she did. Everyone would know you are putting your own life in danger.
So when people's lives are in danger, who's supposed to help them?
Yeah, but the first thing, I mean, I used to be a lifeguard. The first thing that you're supposed to assess when you go into a dangerous situation is it safe for you to actually be in that situation? So that's
like, is it safe for me to put myself in front of a vehicle?
No, but he wasn't throwing himself in front of the vehicle. He was, as you see in the video before, he's coming around the vehicle. The girlfriend of the woman in the car is videoing him. So he takes out his phone and begins to video her. She follows him around the car where we can't see him.
Hold on. Let's go back to the video because I want to go back to this other video. I know you didn't get a chance to see it. So let's take a look at this.
Avoid being run over.
Yeah, you missed that. But
Are you seeing this on the screen?
I am, but Megan's got a longer cut.
Oh, she has a video on hers?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me try to. Okay, let me go to the video. Her. Well, we'll keep playing. We'll keep listening to what she's saying. I didn't know that there's a video, so we'll just keep listening to Megan. Yeah.
What happened yesterday? Well, we now have the video of that incident, and we've confirmed with the government that this is the relevant video that Kristi Noem was referencing. This is video of the incident she was referencing involving this same officer. He was dragged during an ICE arrest just this past June and got seriously injured. This same guy, this poor ICE agent. Per the Department of Justice, on June 17th, 2025, law enforcement officers attempted to arrest Roberto Carlos Munoz.
Hold up, Paula. What does this have to do with what happened?
Hang on, no, I'm getting the clip for you.
Keep playing it.
On this, I'll get the timestamp.
All right. Well, I'm just wondering, what does this have to, like, why?
Timestamp is 7:40.
Let me ask you this though: if this was justified, why would we have to bring up the police's past and what they went through? Like, if just what we saw on tape was justified, why do we have to bring up the past of the why do we have to bring up the past of the officer to gain some type of support or empathy for the officer?
No, I think it's just been brought up because of context, because as training in the field in these kinds of active situations, you have that experience of knowing what can go wrong, what can happen, how your life can simply end in a moment like hers did. I mean, she's not trained in the field. Maybe she just didn't think, she's not that kind of combat kind of trained in those kinds of situations. I put a link in at the timestamp where the video starts. And
all right, let me keep going. Which video? This is the previous video. Do you have it? Do you want to show the video of, like, is she going to show a video of what happened yesterday? I think I have it right here.
At the timestamp is just what happened just before the officers went up to the car, and how that guy got around to the other side of the car.
So that's this right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also has a phone in his hand, likely recording her. Did the agent have a negative interaction with these women that caused him to begin recording too? We don't know yet, but clearly something was going on.
Did the agent have I'm sorry, but the framing of this is ridiculous. It's completely disingenuous. Them saying, like, they are playing lawyer for this ICE agent and completely not even being considerate of the entire. This is ridiculous framing to me, but I'll keep playing it.
Before, and it wasn't needlepoint. We have not yet seen the actual video that was on the cop's phone. But here's video we do have of that moment and what happened afterward. Again, they both appear to be recording each other's actions. You see a gray truck pull up. We talked about that yesterday. Two federal agents step out. The driver of the maroon SUV, Ms. Good, says, "What's going on?" The officers quickly walk up and tell Ms. Good to get out of the car and then to, quote, "get out of the fucking car." Things are escalating. Good's window is down. She's looking directly at them. There is no way she did not hear the commands to get out of her car, repeated commands. She then puts her car into reverse. And here is the part of the video with sound of the agents making the commands and her beginning to reverse.
No!
We believe that's her wife yelling no and recording. Right as Good reverses her car, you're about to see the agent who fired the shot move in front of the vehicle near the driver's side headlight.
And just to be clear, Paula, this is what the ICE agent said you're not supposed to do in their training, but we'll continue.
You know, a retired ICE agent, I don't know if that they've updated their training. I don't.
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever done the training? Because you seem to be more confident in your understanding of what their training is than the retired ICE agent.
Coming into the debate and getting emotional about it before all of the facts are out.
No, I'm just asking you, but how do you know about the training though? Because I don't know about the training. So that's why I brought in a video of the retired
agent. We don't know how long he's been retired for.
But I'm saying, how do you know? Because you keep talking about the training.
I'm just saying he might be talking about his past training, but we don't know what their training is today.
All right, but you were saying their training as if you're speaking from an expertise standpoint, like you know the training. That's why I was confused. Like, why should we, like when we're listening to somebody listening to the show, should they take Paula and what she's saying about the training as knowing more about what their training is, or should they take the retired ICE agent? Because it sounds like you're downplaying the retired ICE agent, but elevating your understanding of the training.
Well, you shouldn't take any of us because we weren't there.
Okay, all right. So we'll continue. Hold on.
Theo, there's one guy on the side who's blocking the agent at issue, but you can see that there is an agent in front of her car.
This is despicable. I have no change in thought of this, and this is what I think ends up happening with all of this stuff. And this is what I think a lot of what BK's frustration is, or at least let me just say what my frustration is on a lot of this stuff. We have people, like the generations before us have created an environment where you got people on one side that want to defund the police and remove policing completely, which was an idiotic stance, a dumbass liberal stance. And they're saying to defund the police, remove the police. And then you have people on the other side that are so conservative because they're the polar opposite, that they just will support the police officers and everything, no matter what they do. There's no common ground. I don't know, and we all have different perspectives on this, but Paula, I don't know how you can see that video and think that that police officer's life is on the line. Now, you may.
Keep it going, because it shows.
Okay, I'll keep it going.
It's right there, black and white. At first, you only see the agent at the driver's side door, and his body is kind of blocking the shooting cop. He's fighting to get the car door open as Good goes into reverse. The agent who fired the shots moves into the frame in front of the SUV. Good is still reversing backward. She immediately puts it in drive and starts accelerating forward toward the car.
No, her wheel is turned. And Megyn Kelly is conveniently leaving that out. But it's cool.
Driver's side door, and his body is kind of blocking the shooting cop. He's fighting to get the car door open as Good goes into reverse. The agent who fired the shots moves into the frame in front of the SUV. Good is still reversing backward. She immediately puts it in drive and starts accelerating forward.
So is this cop's on life in danger right now? Because he's shooting.
Forward from another angle, she actually does make contact with him.
Hold on, but Paula, right here, the officer is shooting at this person.
I can't go inside his head because she's
going. No, I'm not telling you to go inside his head. I'm saying, what do you think about what you're seeing right now? Is that person? Do you think that police officer's
milliseconds later in front of when she? I don't know, but obviously he thought so. Are we saying that this man just did this in cold blood because he had some kind of grudge against this woman?
I'm saying that he did it in cold blood, like a lot of cops do it in cold blood, because they are scared, because they are trigger happy, because they have a gang-like mentality, because they don't understand that their job that they're getting in, from my understanding, is to protect and serve. And I don't think that any cop should be willing to even become a cop if you're not willing to give up your life to protect somebody else's. You're just doing it for a job. The majority of police officers that I know, they don't do it because they care about human beings and they care about protecting people. They do it because it's a good job with good benefits. And that's not the energy that we need from our police officers. I mean, we can tell right from here. There's no, I don't understand why you would be so hesitant to say, like, yes, sometimes cops, I know we put cops on high regards, and when we're little kids, we all want to be cops and stuff. But yes, cops are human beings just like anybody else. And yes, sometimes they do commit cold-blooded crimes.
Yeah, I think it's far too early to say that. I'll be happy to, you know, retract it if it's found that way. But I'm just not actually particularly taking an emotional side at all at the minute, because
why do you, but you keep saying emotional, and that's like I've heard that a couple times from you. Why do you think that I'm being emotional in anything formulating my opinion? I'm looking at it from a logical perspective. Well,
calling it cold-blooded murder is kind of saying that you're inside that man's head. That but you went inside that man's head when you initially started the conversation with trying to say that he had a previous experience where he got dragged in a car. You went inside that man's head to justify, and you were saying this in the beginning, so you got to stand on it. Saying what was said on the Megyn Kelly show, because I thought so you're saying that Megyn Kelly went in the person's head. Megyn Kelly's better than me. So I'm just saying. You don't get to do that. We don't do that on here, Paula. You don't get to pass the buck. You don't get to come on here and just say Megyn Kelly's smarter than me. So therefore, Megyn Kelly's not smarter than me. So therefore, I don't put Megyn Kelly above me. So I don't. Yeah, that doesn't really land well. You got to formulate your own opinion. Don't just listen to what Megyn Kelly says. And I think that's the problem. My opinion is, it looks, if I was that officer, you're asking me to go in that person's head. I'm not asking you to do any of that. I'm just wondering why you don't want us to go into the officer's head or anybody's head when it's convenient for your argument, but then you want us to go into the officer's head when you're trying to make a point. I'm not arguing for one way or the other. I'm just saying it's too early to know. Damn. Okay. I think, as I said before, I think that there's a certain level of. Sorry, I'm just seeing what Finn wrote. Sorry, thanks, Finn. I think I'm sorry. Finn's just said, yeah, I saw that. I think there's just a certain level of insensitivity and demonic energy that creates a lot of this outlook on how we look at situations. I think there's a lot of anger. I think there's a lot of, I think there's a lot. I would actually even challenge you, because I know you very well, and I know that your number one fight is against feminism and against liberalism. So perhaps maybe the bias is coming into play. And I know you're saying that maybe everybody else is looking at it from an emotional standpoint, but maybe that bias is creeping in a little bit with you as well when it comes to this situation. Oh, of course. Well, we've all have our unconscious biases to, pick out a term of some sort. They're not always malign, but obviously we have what I try to do in all of these things. It's like I never write about these things, certainly until a week afterwards, because things are going to come up that in the fog of war, in the fog of panic, in the fog of and the culture war especially. And I think the Minneapolis kind of mayor, he's putting people like this woman's life at risk, telling them to kind of basically be citizen soldiers. Say it again. I'm not sure I missed that part. I think that, when politicians tell civilians to go out on the streets and stand in front of, armed federal agents doing their job, they're using these civilians as cannon fodder. They're almost kind of, in a way, perhaps hoping that somebody gets hurt. I'm not opposed to that. I would agree with that. I think politicians absolutely stir up a lot of this chaos. Yeah. But I don't think that that's a reason for an officer to feel that they can just shoot somebody just because they're pissed off that they got out of the way or somebody didn't stop when they told them to stop. I think that if we justify this type of stuff, which, like you said, I think that it actually will be justified and that the police officer won't get in trouble. But it's almost like, I hate to compare situations to other situations, but even when I look at this, like when I think about George Floyd and knowing, that George Floyd was, with fentanyl and everything like that,
if I was Derek Chauvin sitting in prison right now, I'd almost be looking at this like, damn, like this is worse than what I did. This is worse than what I did. And here everybody's just jumping out the window. Now, from a look standpoint, you know, of course, oh, you got the knee on the neck. A lot of people didn't actually see like more information and footage on that. And a lot of people don't even know that George Floyd
And that was
ingested
that was
fentanyl.
standard training in the police at the time.
What'd you say?
That was standard training in the police at the time.
What was?
The neck hold. With the
I
knee
don't
on
think
the
so. I don't think it was,
at the
Paula.
time.
I
It's not
think it
law.
actually had been outlawed.
There you go.
Yeah, you may be right. You may be right. You may be right. But I'm looking at this. Even I guess you're making my point. I'm looking at that situation and looking at this like, damn, this dude just pulled out a gun and just started shooting somebody that didn't stop when they told him to stop.
Yeah.
And and I think we look at these situations like, oh, well, that lady knew that if she did this, then that would put her life in danger. Well, I think that's highlighting the problem. Why is it that when you panic like she did or whatever she did, she drove away? I'm just going to judge based on the actions. Why is it when she does what she does, the officer's response is to shoot and kill?
Yeah, well,
That's a dark place that we're living in.
it is, you know, and I'm just prepared to just wait a little while to see what's going to come out. It's, as I say, it's a tragedy for everybody involved. I'm not taking any side on that. That's, you know, there's a 6-year-old girl now without a mother, and her father recently died as well. So that's just horrendous, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I guess we'll have to wait and see. You know, you have your perspective.
Yeah, we can rub against each other, you know, see how it works out.
Yeah, I'm always open to. I don't know if they got a new magical angle that they're going to show that's going to change my mind on it.
Just after this, it does it's very blurry, but it does show there's another angle that comes up, and she seems to kind of get his leg.
From this angle, it doesn't look like that. And even if let me ask you this, even if the police, let's say that I didn't see it from this angle, but let's say that the driver did actually get the police officer's leg. Does that change it for you?
Well, it certainly says that, you know, yeah, he was in certain danger. Yeah.
Okay, even in this image right here, because clearly the car is out of the way of the officer in this video. I'm not getting in the officer's head. I'm just looking at the video.
Well, yeah, I know. Oh, but this is all happening, you know, in under a second.
Yeah. That's the game. You know, when you're playing football, you know, I can't just go out there and say, "Oh my God, the game's moving so fast." Like, well,
no, I know. Yeah,
you got to. That's kind of the job. That's why you're held in the regards as a police officer and an ICE agent. That's your job. You know, nobody forces you to enter the police academy and become an ICE agent. That's what you take on, those split-second decisions. So it's like you can't run from it or use it as a shelter or something to hide you from responsibility when it's convenient. But then in other situations, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't just say, "Oh, well, it was a split-second decision." Yeah, okay, it was a split-second decision that officer got wrong.
But this is why we have this is why you approach situations that are possibly life-threatening with grace, judging, looking around, looking at the possibilities. You don't when firefighters enter the room, they don't just run in there. And so anytime I've ever been pulled over by a cop, the cop sits there, pulls me over, caddies his car, alarms the people over the PA system, lets them know this is his car, this is his name tag. They go through the back of your car. Depending on what side of traffic you are, they will tell you to roll down your windows. They will touch the bottom of your car. They will touch right by the base or the trunk of your vehicle. In case there's a situation where you flee or something happens to you, the officer's handprint is on the vehicle. And they approach the vehicle with timidness, making sure that they don't put themselves in threatening way. We've never seen anybody pull anybody over with this type of aggression But the one time somebody doesn't go through what you typically see as protocol, there's a death. So maybe approaching the vehicle not with like a bunch of gangsters probably isn't the way to approach a car when you know that you possibly can use your life as an officer. You approach it in a safe tactic. You cover your grounds. But you jump in front of a car like you gangster. You put your hand on your gun like you gangster. You start opening her car door like you gangster, but you the victim.
Well, I think everybody's the victim here. Nothing is just.
Nah, those kids are the victims. If this man still has breath to let it hang out in court, he ain't the victim. If he still has a fighting shot to get off, like you said, if he's still breathing enough for time to happen and for more evidence to come in, he not the victim. And maybe that's the issue. The one who's dead, we're still not calling the victim.
I just said everybody is the victim, and I think it's tragic for the officer as well.
But it's not everybody. The one who's not breathing is the victim. How can we look at one person living and one person dead and say they're both victims?
I said it's tragic for everybody involved.
And what else was said? That they're both victims.
I said everybody is a victim.
I'm reinforcing what you're saying.
The point. I think that if
how is somebody dead?
If somebody walks in your apartment right now, Paula, and does something to you, are y'all both the victims? Like, yeah, that person, I guess they have to accept the burden of something bad that they did. I'm sorry.
If I have to kill him, it will be tragic.
No. What if somebody breaks into your apartment and does something to you? Yeah. Are you the victim and that person the victim because they had to go through this traumatizing experience?
No, but then their families will have to, will have lost somebody.
So is the person that does something to you the victim? That's what I'm asking.
No, of course not.
So then why is this cop the victim?
Wait, hang on. We're kind of merging tragedy and victim.
What I'm saying is if somebody does something to you, right? If somebody does something to you, they commit a crime against you. You're the victim, right?
Yes.
So I guess
and it can be just a tragic situation for everybody involved.
So you would be perfectly fine with everybody just saying, well, they're both victims.
No, I'm saying it's a tragedy. It's just it's tragic all around.
But Paula, I'm agreeing that it is a tragedy. I think we can agree on those terms. Okay. I am saying that they're both not victims. It's a tragedy. You are right. It is a tragedy. They are both not victims. One is dead.
Yeah, fine. We're all speaking extemporaneously, off the top of our heads. We're not being precise reading from a prompt. Of course, she's the victim. Her family is a victim. They're the. Okay. But it's tragic for everybody involved, and I don't want to.
I agree with what you said, but you changed your position by saying that they're both victims. They're not. They're one person is a victim, like you just reiterated.
Sorry, I'm looking at.
Yeah, we just don't see eye to eye on this one, and that's I just.
That's okay.
Yeah, I when situations like this occur, I know exactly what you're feeling, BK, because I'm just saddened. I'll be totally honest. Like, I'm saddened by your perspective on this, and your perspective on this, Paula, just may be that's how life is, and you may be right. Huh?
Yeah, no, and there will be an inquiry, and hopefully, like I say, it's the people up above that are putting people in danger. And if anybody, it's just.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. I wanted to take a look. I don't even know if we have time. Maybe take a look a little bit at this interview that Trump did with Bret Baier, if I can get it to load. So he sat down with Bret Baier. Let's go through a little bit of this. I don't know if this actually happened before the shooting in in Minneapolis that we're going over, but he's just talking about some recent things with Iran. And I think it's an interesting conversation that we should look into and just give our opinion on, or give some perspective on. All right, let me, is it showing up? All right, we're good. All right, let me press play on this.
Let me go back to this issue of the political future for the people of Venezuela. Yeah. Now, it's interesting. You mentioned all of the criminals and the people let out of prisons that were sent to our borders in our country. That's Tren de Aragua. That's cartel members.
Some of the worst.
Is this the right interview? Yeah, this is it. I'm like, hold up. Is this? I thought it was with Brett Baer. I didn't realize it was. All right.
Criminals in the world were let into our country.
Known terror ties.
Biden's open border policy. Anybody could come in.
And that will get into the issue of Minneapolis going on right now. But back to this one issue, do you foresee a Venezuela that will have free and fair elections? And I would have little doubt that the opposition would probably win handily if they were free and if they were fair.
Yeah, I do see that. I think that's happening. But before we do that, it's going to take a while to do. We have to rebuild the country. They couldn't have an election. They wouldn't even know how to have an election right now. The country's become third world, and they wouldn't know how to have an election right now. We're going to rebuild the oil and the oil infrastructure. We'll be in charge of it. It's going to do great. It'll make a lot of money. And we're going to take it from there, but we're going to rebuild the country, and ultimately you're going to have elections.
When you talk about increasing defense spending,
the fact that, like, I think this is just the like the fact that we can sit here and say, and maybe that's fitting that we've had the whole conversation about training and law regarding the situation with Renee Good, but I just don't understand how he's talking about we're going to have elections, like we're taking over, like we're running things. Like, I just don't think I don't get how we see this and think that any of this is okay. That it's just okay for us to just completely take over another country just because they have oil and we want it. But I'll keep going if you guys don't have any. I'll keep going.
And I go back to the campaign, and I go back to your first term. Foreign policy usually doesn't get a lot of discussion. And in many ways, you have dedicated a lot of time, energy, and resources.
Very important for our country.
How is that in America's first interest? Because that's what you stand for.
Well, like the Middle East was blowing up when I got in. It was everybody was fighting everybody, which, in all fairness, has been going on for about 3,000 years in the Middle East. And we now have peace in the Middle East. Nobody thought that was possible. But you have some great.
This man just said we now have peace in the Middle East while a genocide is currently happening. Damn. Damn.
Countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, and many other countries that have been around a long time. They're very wealthy. They were, in many ways, put out of business. They weren't able to do business. Tremendous wealth for the world. The oil supply was hurt. Everything was hurt. I mean, you had things happening in the Middle East that were bad, not only in Gaza with the death and the destruction going on for years. And it's been cleaned up. It's amazing. It's been cleaned up. Now, there'll be some remnants right now. We're going to have to see what happens with Hamas. We're going to have to see what happens.
He said it's been cleaned up. These people have had their entire country bombed to where there's just rubble. And he said that it's been cleaned up. Yeah. This is it's really demonic times. That I don't know how else to say this. Like, I don't know how else to make sense of this. I mean, when is this just where we are right now? Because if it is, then is anybody going to be surprised? Like, should we start building the ark, or how's God going to destroy the planet now? Because understanding that we are the world leaders in a lot of ways. We influence a lot of things. We shape a lot of perspective. We shape a lot. We contribute to a lot of what the temperature is around when it comes to this world. And with us thinking like this, I don't see how this can lead to anything but death and destruction around the world, and ultimately people just pressing buttons. I mean, do you guys see it any differently?
I think, yeah, it's a stretch. The America First thing is a stretch. So, you know, the predominant theories about why they did it was petrodollar protection. The other theories are the drug trafficking and national security and narco-terrorism. Then there's promoting democracy and regime change. And then there's the geopolitical context, which I think China and Russia and even Iran were buying assets in South, or are buying assets in South America and Venezuela, and also in Greenland. Actually, that's China is already in Greenland, kind of offering massive loans for infrastructure there, which are going to be impossible for the Greenlanders to pay back, and that's what's known as a kind of debt trap diplomacy, where a country goes in and offers massive loans that they know that they're never going to, and then they'll kind of use that as leverage to negotiate for land, for minerals, for oil, for that kind of thing. But to call it America First is a bit of a stretch, I think.
Didn't China actually do that to America? Like, don't we owe China a whole bunch of money?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I think they loaned us a whole bunch of money. I think somebody put it this way, is that Trump is just saying what it's always been. You know what I mean? When you hear these stories that we used to be surprised about, like I used to be surprised when I first heard like that our soldiers were over in Afghanistan protecting opium, like poppy fields. I'm like, wait, what? Like what? Nah, I was surprised. Trump just saying what it is. He's saying all these wars that we've been involved in, from Iraq to across the board in those regions. It's all about resources and control. This has been going on for a very long time. It just seems like Trump is just, for whatever reason, willing to acknowledge this and just say it as it is and think that people are just going to still support him, which I guess a lot of people will. Or maybe he just doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't think he does care. It's his last. He's not going to be running again, is he?
So then this is just, this is scary. This is scary because it's hard to just look around at what's happening and expect like what. I just don't get how people can feel like we could just keep slapping the shit out of everybody and eventually it's not going to come back to us. Like I don't understand that. Maybe some people just believe that we're just that powerful. But everybody gets humbled in different ways. So I don't. But once again, I guess people will only start caring when some of the things that we're doing to other countries start visiting us at home. And compared to what we're doing to a lot of countries, you know, you look at what's going on in Palestine and what we're supporting there, you know, think about how we reacted to 9/11. You know, I would hate for bigger things to start happening. And what it also makes me look at is all this stuff that even when it comes to 9/11, like I'm really wondering, like, who's behind this stuff? Like, who's really behind this stuff? Because it just feels like I'm living in a like I'm just watching a movie that's not real. But you know,
even if you take some of the kind of what are called extreme conspiracy theories about it, it's not beyond you know, even just a reasonable perspective to you know, just to keep them in mind at least, you know, because World War II was started on a what do you call it, a false flag. The Nazis invaded Poland. No, the Nazis, of course they invaded Poland. The Nazis went into Poland and dressed as Polish soldiers and then went and attacked Germany. And that was what part of the justification for invading Poland.
Really?
Yeah. It's called. I'll find out what it's called. It's like one of the first. It's in Wikipedia. It's not controversial. It's Operation something or other, but Germany false flag.
Yeah, I really sit back and think, like, is that the case with all of this stuff? Like, how do we even know? Like, how do we? It's gotten to the point where I don't know about y'all. I don't trust the government, so I don't trust the things that they're telling me.
Operation Himmler. It's called.
It's called what?
Operation Himmler.
Himmler. I'm gonna look at. We'll look that up. Maybe we'll play some videos on that Monday because I need to get a little bit more familiar with World War II and everything. Have been recently looking back at a lot of these like Hitler speeches just because they're now in English, and I want to figure out exactly what he was, saying. Because of what I was saying previously, I don't trust the government. So any of these situations that occur, I don't know. Now we look at these situations and we're like, did America do this? Like, was this a false flag? Was this something that just got us involved in a war? Like this was just all just a play? When you sit back and you hear some of the things that these pilots who were trained in America that did 9/11, and you hear people like, I think it was a Gaddafi or somebody was talking about it, saying like, well, these people got trained in America. These weren't terrorists over here. They got their training in America. America was following these people. America knew that these had some reason to follow them. They clearly thought that they were at some risk of doing something, but they didn't see them when they booked a flight. They can ban Nick Fuentes from booking a flight, but you couldn't ban the people that you thought were terrorists that were doing pilot training. You couldn't put them on a blacklist. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. So
No, it is. Everything just seems sus now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what I worry about the most, because when people, and maybe this is why people believe in a lot of the things that we talk about, because a lot of it's fear-based. People get nervous when they don't know what's going on. People would rather just believe the government is structured in a way like, hey, even though these people are assholes, things are not going to get too much out of control. And I know this is one of a lot of people were thinking this when Trump was initially running, and perhaps even with this last election. And perhaps he's exhibiting a lot of that stuff now. But when it comes to like us believing, when we have a group of people that are very scared, it happened during 2020 when people were just scared. They were just looking for something to believe in. It wasn't that they thought that the jab was, they were 100% convinced on it. They convinced themselves that they should be 100% convinced that it's safe, because they were just running to try to figure out, because during times of chaos, what do? It's easier to get people to get on board with you when you frame yourself in a certain type of way as being safe, having some type of structure. So I'm worried, as we look around the world, when we look around the world at how scared people are. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, fear is always the thing that ideologues use to leverage power.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen it on both sides. And this is one of the things where I think there should be more common sense when it comes to politics. Like, we should be able to look at, the Democrats are just using this fear in this aspect. The Republican, the Democrats are trying to convince us that they're going to put black people in chains and shackles. Meanwhile, the Republicans are trying to convince everybody that, the white people are going to go extinct. And it's like, how do we get to some type of common ground just from a decency standpoint? Everybody's just buying into all the fear mongering and the radical ideologies.
Yeah. Steve's just said it might as well be professional wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I have certain friends. I have certain friends that they always, like, one of my buddies, he says like, the NFL is rigged, or like these sports games, the professional games are rigged. And now you see a lot of this stuff coming out with gambling and stuff. And you're like, but like, you take a step back. Is everything rigged? Like, I'm over here and this is what it does. It makes you a conspiracy theorist. Somebody sent me a video the other day. I'll show it to you guys. You're not going to believe this video. I don't even want to tell you what it is. Hold on. Let me show you this video. Hold on. I had no idea. It's a Simpsons video, so it's making some sort of prediction. Let me see if I could pull it up here. I don't know why my computer's going so slow today. Let me see if I could pull this thing up.
Operation Himmler, also known as Operation Conserve. Just while you're doing that,
That's what it is. Yeah, explain it. Yeah.
Consisted of a group of 1939 false flag undertakings planned by Nazi Germany to give the appearance of Polish aggression against Germany. The Germans then used propaganda reports of the events to justify the invasion of Poland, which started on September the 1st, 1939. Operation Himmler included Germans staging false attacks upon themselves directed at innocent people, such as civilians and concentration camp prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
The operation arguably became the first act of the Second World War in Europe.
Let me ask you this real quick about World War II. Do people, where are you, Paula, so everybody knows?
In England.
Okay. So people in England, I always wonder how everybody else sees World War II and other significant things in history. Have you guys, do you think that we've probably been taught the same narrative as far as, or maybe that's a different discussion, because that could get into a, yeah, let's actually, we'll save that discussion for another time, because I'm interested to know what you guys' outlook is on World War II, on Hitler, Stalin, all these different things that a lot of us are just now doing a deeper dive on. So I always wonder, because we're so ignorant in America when it comes to certain things. And I always think we're one of the most propagandized group of people when it comes to understanding history. It seems like everybody else around the world just has a better grasp of it than us. But we'll get into that later. So this is the video that I was talking about. It's just an example of are they playing with us? To what Steve's point was, it seems like we're watching World Wrestling. So in 2017, there was one episode of the cartoon, The Legends of Chamberlain Heights, where Kobe Bryant died in the helicopter. Well, we'll just see it.
Oh, shit! It's Kobe Bryant! Help me. Just pass me the trophies and we'll pull you out. Pass? These were Shaq.
Wow.
It's almost, hold on, I didn't even realize. Oh, 2017. They said 2017 it was, right? Okay, yeah. And when did he pass? I think Kobe passed, what, 2020? 2021? One or the other. It was him and Nip. I know, hold on. Back to back. When did Kobe pass?
2020.
2020, yeah. So think about that. 3 years earlier, y'all do a cartoon episode of Kobe Bryant dying in a helicopter. It just makes you wonder. And I know that a lot of this stuff could just be random coincidence, but the point that I'm making is that when we have such a distrust for the leadership, then it makes us go down a lot of these rabbit holes that maybe we wouldn't otherwise. So I don't know whether it's good or bad, but it just creates a lot of chaos and a lot of questions. And I think when those two things are happening, then it's an opportunity for things to go up in flames when there is no understanding. And maybe this is why people just accept certain things and believe in certain things, because the alternative, people may be worried about being or creating more problems than just believing in something that may be made up. So that's yeah. All right, so it's 10:05. We definitely enjoyed having you on and give your perspective, Paula, even though you're 100% wrong. No, I'm joking. We're gonna.
It's okay. I don't think
No. Definitely appreciate it. For all of y'all, Paula, tell us where people can find you. And actually, Paula did a dope interview. One of my favorite conversations. We sat down, talked about Nick Fuentes, talked about the Groypers, talked about the state of politics and where things are in the world. So definitely check that out, but also check out all of Paula's other amazing work. So Paula, let them know where we can find you.
Yeah. Most of my stuff is, you can find me on X at Sexy Isn't Sexist. And I'm thinking about changing my handle actually, because it sounds a bit feminist now. But that was named after.
And you are a feminist. Please tell the people, right?
No.
I'm joking. I might as well have just called you something crazy, right? Yeah.
But yeah, that was just based on, I wrote an essay and then I did it as a stand-up for a while.
Uh-huh.
Just celebrating.
said stand-up.
I did a stand-up, yeah.
So you do. I know you said you were an actress, and you also did stand-up as well.
I did. This was before COVID. It was.
Do we have any video footage of it?
There is. I'll have to
All right.
find it.
Well, I appreciate the honesty. We'll have to tap into that too. But yeah. So sexy isn't sexist.
Sexy isn't sexist on @sexy isn't sexist on X, and there's a link to my Substack and writing and academic stuff and art and music. Lots of things.
All right, and then your YouTube.
YouTube is just what is it? @Paula Wright. It's like how you spell my. I spell my name Paula, but my YouTube is Porla. Right.
So yeah, make sure y'all go check out Paula. I love talking to you, Paula. Love talking to you, Paula. We're gonna finish up, get into our breath work. What we're gonna do is our box breathing technique. Shout out to our big bro Steve, which we do a 4-second inhale, 4-second hold, 4-second exhale, 4-second hold. And on the inhale, we're gonna focus on inhaling positive energy. On the exhale, we're gonna focus on getting rid of any negative limiting energy. So if you are in a safe place, feel free to close your eyes. I'm going to close mine, and we're going to begin with a 4-second inhale starting now. Hold. Release. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhaling positive energy. Ready? Go. Hold. Release. Hold. Keep holding. We're going to get into our last cycle, so be very intentional when we're doing this next inhale. Inhaling positive energy. Ready? Go. Hold. And on this next, not yet, on this next exhale, releasing the remaining bit of that negative energy. Let it out. Hold. All right. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out. And just for a lot of y'all, Paula done talked me off the ledge yesterday. We having a combo. So we got some more ideas coming your way. And I'm actually happy that you feel comfortable getting on, voicing your opinion, Paula, even though it may not be the same one. It's honest, and it allows us to kind of just have a real conversation, whether we agree or disagree. So
and I'm always open, to changing my mind, certainly about stuff as well.
I think we all have to be. And I think that's a part of when we say that nothing is off the table for us. I think that's a part of that. I may be completely wrong. I'm going to passionately stand on what I stand on, but I'm perfectly fine with receiving some new information and, changing my opinion based on that. So I think we all should embrace that. But yeah, let's continue to elevate. Y'all know what we come here to do. Elevate on purpose. And the goal, let me be very clear. We are attacking fear-based mediocrity. Anything fear-based mediocrity, anything that aligns with that is what we are attacking. All right. The goal is to figure out what our purpose is, figure out the impact that we want to make on this world. We like to call that our personal legend. Put together a plan of action and execute. All right, execute, get to the bag, whatever that means for you. What it means to me, those are all the little things, the quote unquote little things that add up to the big things that we're doing throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. All right, making sure that we're on the right trajectory to live in our purpose as we strive for this purposeful abundance. So the things that I like to focus on: peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and of course, integrity. And I'm going to bring the balance back in. So I'll bring the balance back in. So
what did I tell you yesterday?
What's that?
Character is destiny.
Character is destiny.
By Heraclitus.
I like that. I got to actually look back into that.
Philosopher.
I got to keep looking back into that. Character is destiny. And I think, do you want to elaborate on it and explain what you mean?
It's philosophy older than Plato. It's just, if you have the character to get through things, that you can achieve great things. Not let circumstances beat you down.
I love it. I love it. A great message to end off and start the weekend. So y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Finish. Y'all know we set out in the beginning of the week to make this our greatest week ever. So hopefully we still have the opportunity to do so. And let me see what a few people. All right. Unc said, but by learning through your failures, you learn to succeed without fault. Love that. Paula, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, then I will happily change, for I seek the truth. Marcus Aurelius. Love that. Steve said, let's have a great weekend. Let's be the change we want to see in the world as we learn and grow. Love that. And hold on. Unc talking about writing a cookbook, man. Unc ain't writing no cookbook. You and BK, we need to have a little cook-off. Shout out to Michelle in the building. Michelle, where were you, man? We missed you. We missed you earlier. It's good to see you tapping back in. What did Finn say? What doesn't transmit light creates its own darkness, Marcus Aurelius. And on that note, y'all know how we finish out every show with Quee sending the fire emojis. And we shall see y'all soon. Have a good one.